guys, welcome back to my channel. Mermaid Nina here. As you guys probably know by now, my family and I went on the Disney Fantasy. That is a 7-night cruise through Disney Cruise Line. And well, as I was going through the footage, I realized I forgot to do a few intros and outros for the footage. So in today's video, we are going to kind of explore a little bit the kids clubs, right? It's a Small World Nursery for those babies, the Oceaneers Club and Lab for those ages 3 through 12, potty trained by the way. We've got Edge, ages 11 through 14, and then we have Vibe, which is 14 through 17. So we're gonna take a quick tour of these areas aboard the Disney Fantasy, but heads up, they're kind of similar aboard all the ships, except for the Wish. The Wish, of course, being new, their areas are a bit different. But Disney has made these 4 areas very similar throughout their entire fleet. You know, there's always going to be an It's a Small World Nursery for the littles. There's always going to be some form of Oceaneers Club for that middle kid range, right? And there's always going to be a space for those tweens and teens. So if you are considering a Disney cruise or you're actually headed aboard the Fantasy and you want to check out a few of these spaces, make sure you check out this video. Heads up, however, all this footage was filmed during the open house tour session. So when you first aboard a ship, they kind of give parents and kids alike a chance to explore these areas of the ship before they kind of shut them off and only allow people or kids within those age groups to go in these areas. So in this footage, you're gonna see random people kind of bopping about, and that's because that is open house. It really gives parents a chance, especially for the Oceaneers Club, it gives those parents and kiddos a chance to explore the areas before the parents then have to send them in by themselves. So once the cruise really starts going, these are kind of kid only areas. Parents don't really go inside, but stay tuned for the end of this video because I'm going to talk about each of these areas, including how Disney keeps them safe, right? No one wants to check their kids into the kids club knowing they are not safe. So make sure you guys stay in till the end of the video and I'm going to touch base on a few of those things as well. But for now, guys, let's check out my footage of those kids clubs areas. Let's go. All right, this is the Small World Nursery. If you have littles or kids who are not potty trained, this is where you go. You do have to pay for it, and you need to make reservations. It's just a fun little place for little tots to go and explore. Of course, they've got changing areas here and toys and crafts. Look at all these little nooks and crannies in here, including little bathrooms in case you are in the potty training area. And then if you have a little, you can come in here and they can take a nap. And here's the Oceaneers Club. Everyone has to be checked in, and of course you have to wash
is nice and secure.
Yes.
This is the hand washing machine. It's pretty cool. Looks like they're getting ready for a dance party over here.
4. It's while you're on the walking deck. Down here, the walking deck. It's right here up the stairs. Let's go. guys, I just want to let you know that I just toured all the kids club per, you know, what I always do. I have a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old, so technically I have an Oceaneer's Kids Club kid and I have an Edge kid. Well, I asked for special permission for the 10-year-old to go to Edge, which is 11 to 14 years, with his sister who's 13, and they absolutely said yes. So I have both my kids checked into Edge, even though one of them is only 10 years old. Normally Edge is 11 to 14, but because he has a sibling, because they'll be going together, I was able to sign a waiver and get them to go to the same kids club. So just note that that is an option for you if you have a kid who's just not feeling the Oceaneers Club. Here on the Fantasy, we've kind of been there, done that, right? We've been on this ship so many times that the kids were kind of done with Oceaneers. So we're gonna hopefully see what the Edge has in store for my kids this trip. All right, guys, I hope that footage gave you a little insight into those spaces. Just like I said, these spaces are pretty similar aboard the entire fleet. Of course, the Wish is a little bit different. Each of the areas are slightly different aboard each ship, but it's kind of the same general stuff, right? So we're gonna go over it just a little bit for those of you who might have some questions. So the It's a Small World nursery is a place where you can check in your little, your 6 months to 3 years old little kiddos. And I say up to 3 years old because if you have a kid who's in the 3 to 4 zone and they're potty trained, you can go off and send them to Oceaneers. So if they're not potty trained and they're 3 and under, you want to do It's a Small World nursery. Now here's a few things to know. They take reservations because they are a bit of a smaller child care like area. They do take reservations because they don't want too many kiddos in that space at one time. So if you are going to say Palo or Remy, a fancy adult only dinner, or you just want to, have some baby free time, make sure you make reservations into the It's a Small World nursery in advance. Of course, you can always try to get reservations when you board the ship, but a lot of this stuff is kind of in advance for the It's a Small World nursery. Also know that it's not complimentary, guys. You do have to pay for it. The current going rate is about $4.50 to $5 per half hour, right? And reservations are in 1 hour slots. So kind of just know all that stuff in advance. But if you have a 3-year-old who is indeed potty trained, then you get to move up to the Oceaneers Club. Now the Oceaneers Club and Oceaneers Lab is one giant space, okay? So the club and the lab are connected. So your kiddo can run back and forth between the two areas anytime they want. And again, there's an Oceaneers Club aboard all the ships. So this kind of situation is same aboard the entire fleet. Now the Oceaneers Club, you do have to be potty trained, right? Starts at the age of 3 and goes to the age of 12. Now this is a spot where your parents, you guys most likely, are gonna check in those kiddos. You're gonna walk all the way down to the deck. I think it was deck 5 aboard the Fantasy. And you're gonna check in those kiddos. And then those kiddos are kind of safe within the Oceaneers Club and Lab until you pick them up again. So, but here's a few things you guys might want to know. So as any little kid under the age of 12 boards any of the Disney fleet, Disney's going to automatically gift them a magic band. Ready for this? This one's a little on the old side, but the important part is what's down here. So we've got some Disney Cruise Line characters and whatnot, and they have this red piece. You see this red piece? This is a way that they lock the magic band on your child's wrist. And this magic band is how they literally scan into the kids club. That way Disney knows, Susie's in here, Bill's in here, Matthew's in here, whatever. They know which kiddos are in the kids club. So the parents are gonna walk down their kiddo, right? You're gonna walk down and you're gonna tell the cast member, hey, little Frankie wants to go in right now. Frankie would then scan the magic band, right, to the scanner. Frankie gets let in. Frankie then has to wash her hands, right? There's a special washing machine. I showed that in the picture and it kind of swirls around in there. So they get their hands nice and clean and then they go and play and do whatever the heck they want, guys. There are ongoing activities that are happening throughout the Oceaneers Club. A lot of that stuff will be listed on your app, but everything between crafts and movies and dance parties and characters that just kind of show up, but basically your kiddo gets to run amok as much as they want. Now, how do you pick your kiddo up, right? So can any Tom, Dick, and Harry pick up your child? No, they cannot. So when Frankie's ready to come out, Frankie can tell a cast member can actually text you again on your app and say, Frankie's ready to get picked up. So you go all the way down there and they're not gonna just give her to anyone. They're gonna actually ask you for your secret family password. That's right. So when you do all your cruise documents, when you're checking into the cruise, it's gonna ask you for a password. You put in whatever password you and the hubby and the whole family know, and you tell that to Disney. So when it's time to pick up Frankie, you tell them, our password is Memphis. I don't know, Nina's making this stuff up. As long as you have the correct password, you can then pick up your child. But that's how they keep the kiddos safe. So the kiddos have to check in and they have to check out via the parent with that special keyword. Again, if you have a kiddo who just wants to be, you told the kiddo, okay, mommy's gonna get you at 3, but it's 2 o'clock. Kiddo wants out. Kiddo can tell Disney, Disney can contact you. It's kind of easy and breezy, but that's how they do it over at the Oceaneers Club. So again, it's all sorts of activities. Some things are listed, some things are not. You go ahead and check your kiddos in and they are very much safe in that space. My kids have enjoyed the Oceaneers Club for years aboard all the different ships. I was never worried or nervous because I knew that if I had a kiddo, usually my son, who decides he doesn't want to play anymore, they could contact me and then I would go and pick him up. But that's how the Oceaneers Club works. Again, ages 3 to 12 must be potty trained. And of course they do. Like I said, they wash their hands. You have to check them in. Their magic band isn't going to fall off because it has this locking feature on it. And that's just how it goes. However, note, these are not free. Of course they're not. It's Disney. When you're done with your cruise, you can go ahead and you can keep these for, I think it's $12.95 right now, or you can turn it back into Disney and they will refund your account. But yes, that is how the Oceaneers Club works. So hopefully I answered those questions for you guys. Next thing up is Edge. Edge is ages 11 through 14. Now, if you saw in the video, I have a 10 and 13-year-old. My 10-year-old has been there, done that with an Oceaneers Club, and he really likes to hang out with his sister. Well, luckily Edge gave me special permission because I do have an older child that I was able to check my son into Edge, even though he's only 10 and not 11. However, I did have to sign a waiver that my son can come and go as he pleases. When you're in Edge and Vibe, there is no magic band. There is no parents scanning you in. There is no parents picking you up. It is the kids have a free-for-all. Kids can come and go as they please. So you have to be comfortable with that sort of situation. My son has been on the Fantasy numerous times and he's with his sister and I knew together they could tag team. Plus we always told them, mom and dad will be here, mom and dad will be here. Always we're in contact with them. If you have kiddos who have cell phones, you can actually contact your kiddo, free via the Disney Cruise Line app. So you could always say mom and dad here, kiddo here, whatever. So that's your way you can stay in contact with your kiddo. But just note that when they do Edge and Vibe, it's a come and go, do as they want kid situation. In fact, a lot of things that happen in Edge and Vibe happen outside of Edge and Vibe. So there's a lot of activities that happen in the kids club area. And then there's a lot of things where it says, hey, we're going to meet over here by, the basketball courts, or we're going to meet over here in this lounge area. So just kind of know that in advance. But yes, Edge is kind of a little hidden little space for those tweens. And my kids did have a good time. They don't really get to play video games a lot at home, so they really enjoyed playing some Wii and some Mario Kart and a few other things. They did do some kitty crafts and learned how to draw some Disney characters and stuff like that. Both of my kids did not want to go to Edge. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to sign you up anyway so you guys can have a chance just in case you want to change your mind. And of course, once the cruise starts and we start seeing all the activities that are happening in the kids club, they immediately wanted to go and they had a blast. So heads up for that. If you have kids who are just not into it, or you think they could be, but they're saying they're not, sign them up anyway. So when you go to that open house with all the other parents, just sign your kids up. You're not signing anything bad, just sign them up. And if your kiddo changes their mind, then they're already in the registry, right? So go ahead and do that during open house, which again happens the day you embark on the cruise, that very first day, for those first few hours before dinner. It usually happens once you board and then before the ship kind of starts moving. So before about 4 or 5 o'clock, you can do the open house in the kids club. So now moving on, Vibe. Vibe is that special place for teens, and Vibe is pretty cool. Vibe has a lot of things going in it because, we have to keep those teens happy. I love that they have a coffee and smoothie bar. My kiddos were so jealous because they have their own pool deck. My daughter can't wait to be old enough to go to Vibe. She absolutely loved that space. They have a lot of like music and performing and karaoke and gaming stuff as well. Basically trying to keep up with what our teenagers like these days, you know. Again, Vibe is the same situation. You just sign your kids up, and if they go, they go. But I will tell you that I saw many of the teenagers running around the ship having a blast, making friends, making new friends, and doing a bunch of activities. Same thing on the Wish. I saw so many teenagers having a blast hanging out with each other. So again, don't forget to give these areas a chance. And the cool thing about Vibe, at least the stuff my kiddos loved, is that it's a hidden secret spot, right? You have to go to a secret spot on deck 4 and you have to find the secret staircase to go find Vibe. And Edge had a special elevator, which kind of just, you know, makes it cool, right? Just touches it up a notch. And then for those of you who have kiddos that are past, you know, 17, they're 18, but they're not quite old enough to say drink or hang out in the adult areas. Just know that Disney does have an 1820s society area and special things for them throughout the ship. Those are for your, I'm an adult, but not quite a 21-year-old adult. So that 18, 19, 20 zone, they have special activities for them as well, known as the 1820 Society. So yeah, guys, I hope that kind of explains a few things. Again, a lot of these areas are very similar aboard the entire fleet. Of course, the Wishes areas are a little bit more different because that ship is new. And if all, you know, in all honesty, as someone who just got off the Wish and then just got off the Fantasy, yeah, I really like what the Wish did for the kids clubs. But again, it's fun. Any ship that you do, your family will have a good time either way. But yes, hopefully this video helped you guys out and gave you some insight into those special areas for your kiddos. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. If the subscribe button is red, please click it, turn it gray, hit the bell icon for notifications, like this video, and comment. Have you sailed before? What did your kids think of the kids clubs? Let me know in the comments. Like I said, my kids definitely were in this weird age where they weren't really interested in Oceaneer's club, but they weren't really old enough for Edge. So we did have a few cruises in there where the kids hung out with us, more than not, let's just put it that way, which was fine for us. We did a lot of pool time and trivia and crafts and whatnot. And then this trip, it was really shocking to me that even though they said, no, Mom, I don't want to go to Edge, that's dumb, they totally had a blast in Edge. Anyway, despite all their little comments. So it doesn't, you know, it doesn't hurt to give it a chance. And again, if you have a little kiddo, first time Oceaneer's kid, and you're kind of dropping them off and saying goodbye, just note that Disney is used to that. You can totally drop them off and then just kind of hang out by the door a little bit to the side for a few minutes and make sure that kiddo is definitely having a good time. You can talk to the cast member about it. Like, hey, first timer, a little nervous. Disney's good at all this stuff. This is what they do day in and day out. Those kids club crew members know what they're doing and they're used to it. They do this for, I think it's like 6 months at a time. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Mahalo for watching. Nina out. Bye, guys.